Hello. Just want to share what I came up with for professions in Shadowlands. I figured since it's so easy to level now that I'd go ahead and I'd make a list of the classes and the different professions that I want to use on the different classes to make things easier. In BFA, I double dipped a lot where I would have multiple classes as the same profession, and it was kind of a cluster a little bit, but this time I'm gonna go ahead and change things, and you can kind of do this however you'd like. This is just like more about my thought process behind what I'm doing. So you can take this list and use it if you'd like, but just keep in mind that I probably am not going to. Obviously, you can't really play all these classes all at the same time. So if you find yourself playing like a priest or something more than anything, you might want to change things around. So let's just get into it real fast. I usually play tanks and healers a lot of time. So I actually like to heal with the Mistweaver monk. So they end up running a lot of dungeons, which means that you end up with a lot of extra loot sometimes after running a dungeon, especially if you're like farming mythic keys and whatnot. I know that they nerfed the drop rates. I think there's only one or two drops per dungeon now, but after a week or two, I'm sure that you're gonna find that you have three or four of the same item and don't need them. So the main classes that I will be running dungeons with, I chose to have enchanting, so they can get rid of those extra mats, and you can always mail over greens or things like that and disenchant them. And maybe if you have somebody that you're just going to be running world quests with a lot and are getting items that way, you might want to consider having them as your enchanter just so you have a lot of extra materials. Um, Going through here, usually in each expansion, you can craft armor for your particular class. So, it wouldn't really necessarily be beneficial for a warrior to have tailoring, for instance, since, they can't really craft anything that they can use. There might be a few odds and ends, uh, especially during a raid tier. There oftentimes is like a entry level raid set that's even upgradable, and those are kind of nice. So, that might be an avenue for like upgrading or gearing up your character too. So, you want to keep that in mind. If you got a demon hunter, leatherworking obviously goes very well with it because you can craft not necessarily the greens that you get while actually leveling up that profession, because those are kind of useless besides the transmogs, but you can in fact craft things for entry level rating and whatnot. So moving along here, so I tried to pair up with classes that I knew I was going to use in different circumstances. So again, my warrior is a blacksmith, my priest is a tailor, um, and my other philosophy was is that what, I could definitely go through and have like enchanting blacksmithing and then like an alchemist and engineer, and you see I do have some two craftings on some of my characters, but not all. And the idea behind only trying to limit it to just one is that when you're actually out and about, you'll be able to collect materials and things. So, like my Death Knight, I don't really plan on playing him too much. I do plan on getting everybody up to max at some point at least. And the way the professions work is in most cases that you can actually just craft all the things that you need at the lowest level. So, like, I mean, I think in BFA, once you were 120, I don't even know if you need it to be 120. You could actually do all the jewel crafting that you needed to do without actually like investing time into it. So I can like just go mining, and then on some of my other characters while I'm doing world quests and stuff, and send them the materials and have them break them down and then craft them into whatever they need. So I did try to keep an herbalism. I definitely feel like alchemy is going to be, it always is, one of the bigger ones. And so um, I felt like having the extra herbalists picking up things while I'm out and about was more beneficial than having more mining, even though mining is going to be, kind of nice. Uh, so for the druid, like I did want to make at least one dedicated farmer. So I didn't really think it was necessary to have like multiple skinners, since usually when you're farming, you only really need one character to farm. So I chose my demon hunter as a skinner because demon hunters, they can use the leather. They're actually pretty tanky, and you can just wipe out packs. So I'll use him as just my skinner, and I didn't feel like I needed anybody else to be the skinner. Um, the druid, the druid is just like hands down, I feel like the best gatherer that you can get, since you can fly around, travel form, and things, and not even have to get out of travel form to actually mine or herbalism. So even if if this is like your main, you might want to think about getting leatherworking or something instead of two gathering things. But this was the only class that I chose as to do two gatherings, just because if I am just gonna go and just farm, I can just get on one character and I can pick up every little bit that I want. So as far as the other actual like crafting professions that are out there, I just kind of tried to spread them out and complement the class best I could. Again, warrior, blacksmith, death knight, jewel crafting, no really reason there, but I did pair that with mining, so not only can he get his own materials, but like the paladin and the hunter and the druid will mail him, things, so he can actually make what he needs to make. Something else that you might want to keep in mind, though, is that typically there are cooldowns, 24-hour cooldowns for transmutations. And so it's really beneficial. I've never actually taken advantage of this myself, but it's really actually beneficial to have multiple alchemists, since you can have multiple transmutation cooldowns, which could net you more materials, which whatever you can use for whatever you need. So I did pick a character that I am gonna play because again, like flasks and whatnot are gonna be worth a whole lot. And before I get to this extra character, I want to go ahead and touch on engineering. Engineering, I overlook it all the time. There's always some cool things, but more importantly, you can typically build mounts and things with them. So um, if you're not getting engineering, you should really consider having one on the side just so you can get mounts and whatnot. So sorry, I need to. I'm actually farming the elusive alpaca right now in a group, and it should be spawning here any moment now. So just wanted to check in on it real fast. So coming back right here. So I am making a banker class. This is totally different. This is gonna be whatever you want. He just sits in the main city. I mail him things that I want to sell and kind of use them as storage. And for the banker, I actually chose to go alchemy engineering. I went alchemy because again, there's another cooldown for a transmutation, and engineering because I don't know that I'm actually gonna stick with engineering on any one character. But if this guy's main objective is to monies, then alchemy and possibly making like pets and gliders and mounts and things, I felt like was another good pairing, and definitely no gathering since he's probably never gonna leave the main city. So, um, yeah, that's was just some of my two thoughts. I thought that I'd try to share this since I actually came across somebody else's video that was explaining what professions are good for each class, and I thought that especially with the changes that have come, it's a lot easier to have multiple tunes. So you should probably shift your thinking to have to be more my account can do this rather than my character can do this. And again, I don't expect anybody to follow this exactly, but I think that it's definitely nice to be able to go out and do some world quests. And while you're doing world quests, you'll be able to pick up one or the other, and then um, have at least one of everything, so everything is available to you. So good luck in the Shadowlands, and have fun.